Hi everybody, it is the 10th of March 2020 and today we've got the rather belated release of update 6.2 on console, on PlayStation and Xbox. So I did do the I did do the patch notes for this a few weeks ago when it came out on the PTS, but it's been such a long time I thought it might be interesting to go through the patch notes again just to remind ourselves what to expect, what to look out for, because it's easy to miss quite a few of these features, and to be honest, to remind me as well. So here we go. Skip past this stuff. Bloody blah, cross-party play. So this is the big one. This is the one I think they had the most trouble starting. So now, party like never before. Players on console will now be able to invite each other into a single party with the new cross-party play feature. And the friend list has received a makeover. Players can now search players from both the same and different platform to add friends. Players can now find 4 tabs in the friends list. Platform. So this shows you your existing friends on your current platform, so like all your PlayStation friends or your Xbox friends. Players you add to your platform specific friends list using your Xbox Live gamer tag or PSN, PS4 will show here. PUBG, this is the new friends list which will help you organise your friends across platforms using cross-platform parties. Players can add friends by selecting follow when looking at another player's profile. So this is where you're going to build up, your Xbox friends if you're on PlayStation, PlayStation friends if you're on Xbox. Recent, this shows players you've met as a team in recent matches, because we've all been there, haven't we? You're playing with a squad of randoms, they're on the comms, you have a great match, and then you immediately forget their usernames. And especially, obviously, with crossplay, you won't be able to look for them in any other way. Team shows your current teammates. Players from both console platforms will now be able to join the same custom match created. Dev note, we made some changes to the way voice chat works on Xbox to allow players on all console platforms to communicate within cross-platform parties. When joining a team in a custom match lobby, you will no longer be able to communicate with voice until the match begins. So that just goes for custom matches. Here's the next big thing, Team Deathmatch. The long requested Team Deathmatch mode has arrived. Intense 8v8 first person perspective fights on 7 different battlefields pulled from your favourite maps. TDM features classic PUBG gunplay and mechanics with all the fun and action of respawning back into the fight. The boost gauge functions differently in TDM and fills by scoring kills and assists, restoring your health after you haven't received damage for 5 seconds. So you've kind of almost got auto health regen in this. The team with the most kills in 10 minutes or the first to reach 50 kills wins the round, with 2 round wins securing the match victory, so it's best of 3. So it's 8v8, first person only, weapon spawn kits, respawns, no knockdowns, no friendly fires. So basically you get to choose whether you want like an AR kit or a sniper kit or a shotgun kit or a submachine gun kit. Jump into TDM through the new arcade section of the menu. Now, I have played quite a lot of Team Deathmatch on the PC and on the test server, and I think it's a great addition to the game. It definitely gives us that fast player versus player respawn mode that we all thought that the war modes and the custom matches would give us. The idea that you're playing a respawn game where you can go around and you can kill each other and keep killing each other to really get used to the gun mechanics in PUBG, because we know that when you're playing Battle Royale, if you play safe like I do, you don't get into that many gunfights, and so your close quarters combat skills often aren't up to scratch. The problem with war mode and custom matches is because they relied on the owner of the custom match to trigger the game, too often or not, it would take far too long to get into lobbies, and often you have to quit out. So it was a bit of a failure. So Team Deathmatcher is good that way. What's really odd about it is the fact that it's first person. I can't understand this. Surely they understand that on console almost everybody plays third person. That's what we play. We play third person on console, and lots of PC players as well. PUBG was designed as a third person's perspective game. So why do they do this? Or at least give us the option. Make it, anyway. And you get to play across several of the maps. So interesting. So it's going to be good, I think. A lot of it will depend on where the servers are. One of the problems with the UK at the moment with PUBG is that I don't think there's any dedicated servers in the UK anymore. I think they're all in Germany or Western Europe. So your ping is going to be a little bit higher. Gameplay. Now, this is the thing that may well get me back into playing PUBG on a more regular basis. Grenade changes. Frag grenades. Vests now mitigate damage received from frag grenades, but vest durability isn't reduced when taking damage from frag. So the vest you've got on will protect you from grenades, but it won't destroy the vest as you get hit. Damage mitigation amount is dependent on the level of the vest worn by the player, with the same percentage reductions for bullet damage. Frags will deal 20% less damage to prone players. So basically, for some reason we got to the point with frags in PUBG where they were horrendously powerful. And I would play games and you'd get some good kit, you might even get a good couple of kills, you'd be like, here we go, and then you just die to grenades that were way, and it made the game frustrating. PUBG for me is all about gunplay. That's what makes it fun. Strategy, tactics and gunplay. Now I've won chicken dinners with grenades, but it was getting silly and most importantly it was getting frustrating. It would be who had the most grenades would win. You both hide behind a rock or a tree and lob grenades at each other, but now grenades are toned down an awful lot. Item weight increased by 50%. So you can't carry as many grenades. Pulling the pin of a frag is now louder and audible from further away. Smoke grenades have 1 second fuse time. Stun grenades increase indirect hit effect radius, so they can't quite help themselves, can they? So now we're probably going to see stun grenades being lobbed everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. The ringing sound now impacts players through walls. This matches the frag grenade mechanic, although the impact affects a smaller radius. Added slight camera shake to players near the explosion. Default fuse mechanic. Stuns now explode 0.7 seconds after the first impact or after the fuse timer runs out, whichever comes first. Fuse time without cooking has been increased to 5 seconds. 2.5 second fuse time when cooking. The stun remains unchanged. Come on, PUBG. This is a gun game. It's not a grenade game. Tone everything down. Molotov cocktails increase the speed at which the fire spreads by 50%. Fire can now spread slightly further with increased damage radius. Change the way fire spreads around objects. Fire will now more consistently reach the backsides of objects, especially thin objects like trees. Reintroduce direct damage while standing in fire, in addition to existing damage over time. Players in fire will now take an additional 10 damage per second. Fire now reaches higher and should be obstructed less by small objects. The frag and stun grenade visual effects have been updated alongside more realistic frag grenade sounds. So hopefully Molotovs and stuns don't become the new frags, So let's see. Fingers crossed though. I'm looking forward to playing more PUBG where I can get into gunfights and things like that and not worry about getting fragged to death. Karakin item spawn update. A few weeks ago we implemented a loot adjustment for Karakin based on player feedback. Since then we've been monitoring games to determine if any further adjustment needs to be made, and a couple of things have stood out to us. First, healing items are still a bit hard to find, are a bit too hard to find, or how frequently people are fighting. For how frequently people are fighting. Second, snipers and DMRs are really strong on Karakin. We're going to try an updated loot setting that will increase meds while reducing bandages, sniper rifles, DMRs and the Win 94. We know many of you prepared these guns on Karakin, but we feel that Karakin needs a little more risk for the reward of these weapons. To help mitigate this adjustment a bit, we're adding the G36C assault rifle and the MP5K submachine gun to Karakin, as requested by many of you when Vikendi started its vacation. Also, we have adjusted the care package airplane speed to move faster across the island. Yes, because it looks stupid. Of course, your feedback is essential here. Try out the new settings and let us know how everything feels. Is it worth it for you to spend more time searching to get that SLR? Do matches feel more competitive without as many long-range weapons? Let us know so we can continue to adjust. How about just get rid of Karakin and bring Vikendi back? Right, peeking and leaning. Historically, when moving to the right around objects in PUBG, without peeking or leaning, much less of your character is shown than if you moved out to the left. This is called right advantage. It's a common thing in first-person shooters. This recently received increased visibility in the community, leading to players using this mechanic to their advantage more often, which has led to some frustration. This mechanic is closely tied to the fundamental design of the PUBG gunplay system, making it difficult to resolve the issue completely without potentially adverse changes to feel of PUBG gunplay. With that said, as we announced earlier this month in response to the community concern, we'll be making a change in this patch to reduce the advantage gained when peering at your opponent from the right side of objects by exposing more of the player model. Players viewing their opponent from the right side of the direction will now have more of the body exposed. Player's head will lean slightly more towards the scope when aiming down sight, so the character's head is more exposed. Made adjustments to some weapons to have character's body be more exposed when peering to the right of objects. We will continue to monitor community feedback regarding this change. Now, waypoint feature. I can't remember this one in the last patch notes, but it must have been there. So what you can do now is that if you open up the map and you press LB on Xbox One or L1 on PlayStation 4, what's that? Is that left button? Is that the top left shoulder button? While the map is open, you press the R stick on Xbox One or R3 on PlayStation 4, so you click in to mark waypoints on the map. You can place up to 4 waypoints per group. You can place up to 4 points per group of waypoints. Press Y to remove placed waypoints. When you place a new starting point somewhere else, the existing waypoints will disappear. In duo squad mode, when a teammate places waypoints, they will appear on the map with a radio message. Yeah, I mean... yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's interesting. Will we use it? I don't know. I don't know. Updated blue zone effects, so you can now see into the blue better. Yeah, I mean, what you want with the blue zone is you don't want to reward players, I don't think, for being in the blue zone, you know, and sneaking up on people in the blue zone. You want to make the blue zone a dangerous place to be where you can't see out of it very well. But you want, similarly though, you want to be able to see into the blue zone better. So that's what I'm looking for, because I hate it when you're coming in and you've done all these strategies and some bugger comes out of the blue zone behind you and kills you. Parachute follow. Hold left on the D-pad to activate the follow user interface. Follow button will be highlighted. Scroll up and down the D-pad to choose a teammate to follow. So this is very Apex Legends, isn't it? PUBG Labs skill-based rating test. You can have a go at that. I don't know. Please, PUBG, just bring back the old system we had at the beginning on Xbox. That was great. It worked. Matchmaking. Blah de blah. We will be removing the featured map queue and moving Karakin into the random map queue. Oh no. Oh, because you know what that means. It means you can end up with a series of matches where you get Sanhok, Karakin, Sanhok, Karakin, Sanhok, Miramar. Oh man. Blah de blah, loads of other stuff. Parachute looks better, bug fixes. So there we go. There's the patch notes. Big things, cross-platform parties, and TDM. So dive in, update it, have a go. Tell me what you think in the comments box down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.